Interesting about talking about the power of storytelling. And my guest today is going to really get into it more. Yvonne Choatsen. She's an award-winning Hollywood TV movie producer and seasoned attorney. How are you, Yvonne? And thanks for stopping by.
I'm wonderful, Neil. Thank you for having me, and hello to your wonderful listeners.
Yes, let's kind of just jump right into a little bit about your background and we'll get started.
Right. I'm eldest of 8 brothers and sisters. First assignment as a little kid was tell stories to put those babies to sleep. And the family grew to 8 brothers and sisters. I have a twin brother, I'm the oldest. And there's no more complicated audience to please than kids. So from the very get-go, I had to learn to be exciting, to modulate my voice, to get quiet so they'd go to sleep. That became puppet shows in the neighborhood. We got a refrigerator box, we cut a hole in it, and we were known as the local Choatsen puppeteers. We started getting paid big money at birthday parties all over the city. I still did that in college. It basically paid my way through. So that practice of telling stories and captivating an audience that was honed in childhood became a natural skill when I was a federal public defender, one of the first hires in the District of Hawaii. And I quickly learned that with those powerful prosecutors, their booming voices, those huge oak courtrooms with very high ceilings, that I could not compete if I tried to yell like the guys. So I learned, just like I did with those children in the bedroom, to modulate my voice almost to a whisper so the jury would lean in. And by telling stories that humanized my indigent client, I quickly had a star breaking, acquittal rate. After doing this for 10 years, I started yearning for an audience bigger than a jury of 12. And my chance came one day. I'm called down to the lockup. I was the duty attorney. And there's this buxom blonde, huge breasts, hair ratted, piled up. She was charged with murder, being part of a triangle love affair, and kidnapping of a child. The case was so high profile, it was moved from 900,000 population Honolulu to 10 million population Los Angeles. And in the middle of that court hearing, boom, boom, the courtroom door kept banging open. And it's very rude when you're a federal attorney to turn your back on the
Right.
judge. So I wrote the prosecutor a note on my yellow legal pad, and I said, who are all these people? It's a Wednesday morning in downtown Los Angeles. Who cares about this case from Hawaii? He wrote back, they're all Hollywood producers. They want the life rights to your client's story. And I thought, maybe this is my prayer answered. I jumped up, Your Honor, recess, please. And in a few minutes, the client, Kathy, was taken down by the U.S. Marshals in handcuffs to the lockup. And I was ushered in. And in my rush to get down there, I'd only brought like one pen. And I said, Kathy, what do you want to do? All these producers are like hovering around, they're packing the courtroom. The judge closed access. I said, how do you want to solve this? And she took a napkin. She was eating a single red apple, and she grabbed the napkin and grabbed my pen and wrote on that napkin, Yvonne Choatsen is my producer. And at that moment, I got the chills, and I looked at that napkin and asked her what, and she said, get all the money you can for my baby. You see, the child that was kidnapped was Kathy's very own child. After the murder, what happened was she was a lonely Marine wife. Her husband had been gone for months and months. Unfortunately, she got into an affair with another Marine. Her husband showed up on Kaneohe Air Corps Marine Base unexpectedly with a stomach ailment. He walked in. They were in bed. A fight ensued, and her husband ended up dead. She was charged with conspiracy to commit the murder, and her mother-in-law, the grandmother to her child, Christy, who was a little girl, went to court in Alabama, and because of the adultery, ruled that she was an unfit mother and would never have access to her child again. So she, with her sister, put on a black wig, went to that little town in Alabama on the one day in the year that everybody poured out of their homes, the 4th of July, waited in the bushes, and sure enough, little Christy chased a ball across the park. She ran out, she grabbed her daughter, they raced to the car, and there was a 7-state chase. A few months later, she was caught, and there you have the kidnapping charge. So Kathy knew with a federal kidnapping charge, she was not going to see her daughter for a very, very long time. And that's where I came in. She said, if my daughter gets a legacy from me because of you getting my life rights compensated this way, at least she'll know that I still love her. And then here I am. I've never pitched anything before. I signed up with one of those producers who was
Right.
circling. I go into NBC, and I thought everybody like had black Gucci jeans and black t-shirts. Everything was black and very it was just a world I didn't know. But I thought, I've been arguing for people's freedom for 10 years. What's the worst thing that can happen if I pitch this story and they say, no, we'll just go to the next place? They didn't say no, they said yes. It became NBC's highest rated miniseries in 8 years. It starred Martin Sheen and Patty Duke. Talk about beginner's luck. My phone never stopped ringing off the hook. Overnight, I'm a Hollywood producer.
All right. So from that, this is a great story. We not as not we have only a few more minutes to go. My question to you is after that, did you continue to be a Hollywood producer?
I'm on my 14th movie. I look for life rights everywhere. Along the way, there was another wonderful manifestation, which was 3 children. And so when the writer's strike, which just happened, lasted 10 months, I thought, what can I monetize with 3 kids in college? And I thought, storytelling. And I started coaching people and telling their stories, helping entrepreneurs see that if you can find your story and design it and deliver it with impact, that you will captivate your audiences, inspire people to action, and make smash hit money. And that's where my business, Tell Your Story Like Hollywood, came from. So here I am.
So I think it's so powerful to be able to tell a story. And this is the missing point, especially I'm going to give you a quick nugget. Business owners, business to business, not just solopreneurs, but more like the business, the B2B industry has not telling stories. And they're missing the boat in personal branding and telling their story versus lots of people are solopreneurs or, or have a side hustle that are pretty good at that. It's the ones that are missing are these businesses, these bigger businesses that are looking to do it because the missing thing is they don't know how to really tell what their value proposition is. What makes them special? And that's what you were able to do as a storyteller and learning in the movies that if you aren't able to tell your what makes you special, people aren't going to buy.
Exactly.
And that's the key thing. And how can people get in touch with you? What's the best place people can find information on you, learn more about you, and have the opportunity to book a call? I know you have something you're offering our listeners today.
Yeah, I am so easy to find. It's my first name and my last name, Yvonne, at Yvonne Chotzen, CHOTZEN.com. I'll put the link in the chat, and you can have a download a free PDF with the 3 key points that help you start in the middle of the action when you're telling a story, and create colorful characters and use your emotion. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Your highs and your lows are what attract people to you and make connection with others. So that's what the PDF will share. And for the first 9 people who reach out, I offer a free story strategy call, completely complimentary, usually $297. And that's my pleasure to give your listening audience.
All right. Well, thank you again. I appreciate you stopping by and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Neil. God bless.